Yeah, 100%. It's a massive mistake to look past it. Seriously, I'm putting a spin in all of those plans. Don't book anything. Don't arrange flights and hotels. I'm knocking this guy out, becoming the CEO of Matchroom Boxing, and changing the plan. And it's going to be me versus Tyson Fury next year.
You feel like you are being disrespected, but all these times,
This is going to be the toughest fight of his career.
Shut up, relax.
The most embarrassing fight of his career.
Got a chair across your face.
Yeah, I think he's about to cry.
Jake Paul has officially gone to war with Anthony Joshua, and the entire boxing world is stunned by the sheer level of confidence, aggression, and borderline madness pouring out of Jake as the countdown to December continues. Because at this point, Jake Paul isn't promoting a fight anymore. He's not running his mouth for clout or views. He's diving in headfirst, calling this the most personal war of his career, and firing a direct message at Anthony Joshua that has thrown this matchup into absolute turmoil. Jake Paul has launched the first major attack, declaring that he's coming to destroy Anthony Joshua's legacy once and for all.
A bit of glaze in that question, and you know, that seems like a very friendly question to Jake, but you know what? It's a fair question. I'm not mad at the guy for phrasing his question that way. And again, yes, that's because Jake has a massive name and a massive spotlight. Without that, Jake is not fighting Anthony Joshua in his 14th fight. But on the other side of that, the risk involved with fighting Anthony Joshua here, and some of the fights that Jake had in his first 10 or 11 fights, most pros were either having or having worse opponents for. So when people discredit Jake's career by being like, he didn't fight this guy, he didn't fight that guy, he didn't fight a number of this contender, number that, look at your favorite fighter in their first 14 fights and you pick out the opponents that they had and the level of them. Sure, you'll have your outliers, your Vasily Lomachenkos and other guys that fought tough competition right away, but most, and I mean most meaning 95% of the sport of boxing, had tomato cans until he had 15 to 20 wins. Give Jake his credit. He's fought guys that even were better on his resume than some of your favorite fighters, and now he's fighting Joshua this early. That deserves the credit that I know and the acknowledgement that I know Jake is looking.
And it's a lose-lose for Anthony Joshua. However, given all of that, both men are going to make $92 million each. So forget my opinion. Who gives a damn when you can bank $92 million for having a little move around in a boxing ring? Fair play. You can't on that. However, let's talk about it. The reason I say that it's a lose-lose we'll start with Jake Paul first. The reason I say it's a win-win for Jake Paul is because, listen, if he wins, then he's beating a former heavyweight boxing world champion, certainly one of the best heavyweights of his generation, and of course, a man that is way bigger than Jake Paul. Of course, it's a win. And if he loses, it's still a win for Jake Paul because he had the balls. He was man enough. He was willing to test himself. He would prove everyone wrong, all his critics, like me. By the way, I'm not like out there on an island by myself. Everyone says the same thing.
Saying he's coming to shock the world, saying he's preparing for the biggest fight of his life, and claiming he's going to walk into that ring and end Anthony Joshua's career once and for all. And while some people call it pure delusion, others argue this is exactly the kind of fire that makes Jake Paul so unpredictable, so dangerous, and so impossible to figure out. Because every time people count him out, he's managed to flip the script and prove them wrong. But the reaction to this call-out has been explosive. Boxing traditionalists are disgusted. Analysts are laughing. Critics are saying Jake Paul has finally lost his mind because Anthony Joshua is not Tank Davis. He is not Nate Diaz. He is not Tyron Woodley. Anthony Joshua is a two-time heavyweight world champion.
He beat Wally. And he beat him convincingly.
Yes.
And that's all he can do. And I think that he should take the praise from that and build from it. But he shouldn't want the criticism to stop because I think it fuels him.
I'm one with you. And I said that to Joshua in one of the interviews that I'd done with him. I said to him, listen, like I knew he was very angry with TalkSport and the criticism he was getting from TalkSport, etc. And I had that conversation with him and said, listen, Josh, you should be feeding off that. That's what good fighters do. You feed off that. Go and prove them wrong. Like that's where your fuel should be coming from. And you know, I think to a certain extent, he's sort of done that. I said, look, you're like, if people are talking about you, it's a good thing because that means that, you know, you're doing something right.
He wasn't ready for Anthony Joshua because Anthony Joshua was a different thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just, he's got more one-shot knockout power. He took it more seriously too.
I know he likes to switch in, but again, like, this is where the boxing is. If you don't have that kind of intellect in the boxing, that footwork and foot positioning is. Put your foot on one side, you're going to get killed. You put your foot on the other side, you're safe. You can kind of manage the power and see the punches coming. But he kept switching stances, but just leaving himself in just the wrong positions.
Yeah, he wasn't ready.
Wasn't
for
ready.
A guy like Joshua.
Wasn't ready. There was a lot of hype off the Fury fight.
Also, Joshua got to watch him box in the Fury fight and see some patterns. Fury, I think, probably took him lightly.
Yes, I think so.
He's one of the greatest of all time. This guy's never had a boxing match. At the beginning of the fight, he's like, time to go to school. Like, oh, really?
Who did Terrence Crawford fight his 11th fight?
I don't know.
Who did Arthur Beterbiev fight? Jake Paul has found a way to make himself the cash cow early in his career to where we shouldn't care.
Jake Paul has become the fighter right now that everybody wants to fight because right now he is the cash cow. He made $40 million just off of Netflix.
He has found a way to do something with his following, get under people's skin to make people care about these fights.
What advice would you give to somebody like AJ?
That he has a lot of talent and not to get discouraged. He only loses when he quits. When you quit, all the doors of opportunities close. You know what I mean? You have to be game. And then don't get discouraged if you lose. Listen, you just lost. You may have got $30 million. You should give Usyk a kiss and say, can we do this again? Don't let this internalize you. Oh, I can't fight now. This white boy kicked my ass. People are laughing at me. No, he kicked my ass for $50 million or $30 million. I hope he kicks my ass again. But this time it might not work out that way. I'm going to kick his ass. I just think the more time you lay off, the worse you get. You have to fight to be the best. You have to do it more and more and more.
What do you say to the people who say Anthony is ruining his legacy just by taking this fight? Fans don't respect what he's done in the sport already. He's an Olympic gold medalist, 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. I sort of sympathize with him because I feel like if he doesn't beat him quicker than he beat Francis, people are just going to write it off. I'll ask you bluntly, have there been any discussions about there's an agreement, there's a secret contract? Have any of those discussions happened regarding this fight? It's an 8-round professional fight. AJ wouldn't have taken it if that was the stance it had to be, if it was an exhibition, if it was, you've got to hold him up for 8 rounds. It wouldn't suit Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is going in there to knock out Jake Paul.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. That automatically makes me 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden, he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on. Like, you can't be serious. He can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous. It really is.
A man with Olympic pedigree. A man who has faced the best fighters on the planet. A man who can end a fight with a single punch. Jake Paul has never stepped into a challenge anywhere near this magnitude, and people cannot believe the confidence he's showing. But that's exactly why this fight is becoming so unpredictable, because Jake Paul is not scared. Jake Paul is not backing down. Jake Paul is calling Anthony Joshua out with a level of aggression even AJ didn't expect. And deep down, everyone knows Jake Paul thrives when the world is against him. He thrives when he's the underdog, when fans doubt him, when critics mock him. And he's using that exact same formula to fuel himself into the biggest moment of his entire boxing journey. Now the entire debate shifts to how this fight could actually play out. If Jake Paul were somehow to win this fight, how would he do it? Experts say his only chance is to rely on his youth, his explosiveness, and that unpredictable looping overhand right. The same punch that has shocked opponents in the past.
Yeah, 100%. It's a massive mistake to look past it. Seriously. I'm putting a stint in all of those plans. Don't book anything. Don't arrange flights and hotels. I'm knocking this guy out, becoming the CEO of Matchroom Boxing and changing plan. And it's going to be me versus Tyson Fury next year.
You feel like you are being disrespected, but all these times,
What's the one best thing that you pride Jake Paul of having that maybe you haven't seen in other competition you faced so far?
From a physical aspect, I couldn't even mention it at the minute. But from a mental aspect, he offered me the fight. Normally, I'm offering people fights. He's told me, come and fight. So he believes in himself.
I consider Jake now, I wouldn't consider him like a YouTube fighter no more. I feel like he put in the time. He gotten better throughout, like, all his fights. Like, he done got better throughout all those fights, But it's still, like, when you fighting, like, fighters who actually, like, done it for like their whole life, it's a little different. If that fight happened, it'll be a good money fight. It'll be a good money fight. But that's a tough task for, Jake going to get that big ass heavyweight AJ. You know, I know AJ personally, you know, so that's a tough task, and that motherfucker could punch.
He's going to get battered. He's going to get absolutely
You're preaching to the choir, bro.
annihilated. Yeah, take it to just as they turn to the side. That's it, just there. And watch Jake. He looks at him, keeps looking, and then Joshua looks back. Yeah. Jeez. Great. I just, you know, it's incredible, really.
I don't know if you've seen this fight's in the works, Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. As a Brit, how do you evaluate?
I've just seen that. Someone just told me about that. That's mad. Fair play to Jake Paul, first of all, for taking it. But if AJ doesn't knock him out in like 1-2 rounds, then I feel like the fight must be fixed or something, because I'm going to Anthony Joshua, obviously, for the KO. So yeah, when is it, you know?
It's going to be next month they're working towards.
Oh yeah, sick. Yeah, I'm going AJ for the win.
Cheers.
Two of your last 6 opponents, Usyk, Jermaine Franklin, Daniel Dubois, Francis Ngannou. Which of those would Jake Paul beat, do you think?
Maybe Ngannou. Mm-hmm. That's a fight that we might see in the future. That's a good question. I swear to you, I was quite asking myself that yesterday. Some of the fighters that I fought, I wonder how they'll get on with Jake. And that's a good question for your followers. How would some of the fighters that I fought get on with Jake?
Did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. I think everybody's going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
Jake Paul is not going to outbox Anthony Joshua technically, but he could catch him off guard. He could land something heavy early, and he could put pressure on AJ in ways Joshua hasn't felt in years. Because Jake Paul isn't fighting for rankings, belts, or legacy. He's fighting to destroy the narrative, to prove the entire world wrong, and cement himself as a legitimate threat in the heavyweight division on the other side. Anthony Joshua knows this fight comes with everything to lose and nothing to gain. If he steamrolls Jake Paul, people will say it was expected. But if he struggles, if he gets clipped, if he even lets Jake Paul survive into the later rounds, the criticism will be louder than ever. That pressure is real. And that pressure is exactly what Jake Paul believes will make AJ crack. Because Jake Paul keeps saying this is his moment, his fight, his era, and he is coming to make history in December. The uncertainty, the chaos, the trash talk, the size difference, the raw danger on both sides. This isn't just a fight anymore. This is a full-scale war of ego, pride, legacy, and explosive confidence. And Jake Paul is not backing down. He is calling out Anthony Joshua with everything he has. And as the fight gets closer, the world is realizing something brutally simple but absolutely true. Anything can happen in boxing. And that's exactly what makes this matchup so terrifying, so unpredictable, and so electrifying to watch.